So hi, Welcome to Rise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
It's album of the year time.
It's that time of the year again. Fucking beautiful.
Goddamn. Favorite time of the year.
Favorite time of the year. Yeah.
This also concludes these types of podcasts for the year. We'll still have interviews dropping for the rest of the year into early next year, but you know, you won't see us talking to each other one-on-one. I guess you kind of will because we'll have reviews dropping.
Throwback reviews,
but
yeah.
Discussion type weekly podcasts where we take a whole bunch of music. This is it. This is the last one until next year. So we'll see you next year. Do just want to take a quick moment to thank everybody that has taken the time to watch anything that we've put out this year. It has been a fucking insane year. Watching it all unravel and looking back on it, I'm like, God damn, it's been a fucking awesome year.
Another fucking banger.
Yeah, very excited to take a break, but it has been a blast over the past year. So really appreciate anyone that's watched anything we've put out, followed us on social media, interacted with the podcast in any sort of way, and also big appreciation and big shout out to all the artists that have taken the time to chat with us and their teams, publicists, management, label that have allowed us the opportunity to chat with those artists. Big shout out to everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, lots of moving parts to make these things happen. So always appreciate it when we do get the opportunity to chat with anybody.
Absolutely.
So just
a massive shout out again to like our Patreon supporters and our Twitch sub, Matt from Pulses, Pop Punkabologist, David Arrington, Tyson from Healed Hurt, and Eric. And then our Twitch sub is again Matt from Pulses. Yeah. So thank you guys for that. That means a lot as well.
Yes.
It helps us a lot.
Yes, it does. Massive shout out to those people, but big shout out to everybody that has watched this year. Just wanted to make a note of that. I don't know if we normally do that, but I wanted to make a note of it this year because this year has been fucking bonkers.
Been pretty good. Yeah.
But yeah, we last year we were able to rein it in because the first couple of years we did this, it was all sorts out of whack. I'd come to Glory.
We had like a failures category. It was awesome. We were burning bridges left and right. It was crazy.
I came to Glory. I was like, I got 25 songs, 36 honorable mentions, and my top 10 is actually my top 15. Fuck you. And she was like, but I'm ready. This year, I was the one that was moving my list around at the 11th hour. Glory has been prepared all year long. I've
been keeping track all year.
She's been keeping a list, but this year we were able to keep the same format that we kept last year, where we actually discussed things ahead of time and came together with the same number of things for each list that we're doing.
It's crazy work. It's like communication is like important or something. I don't know. I wish someone told me this earlier.
So awesome, dude. So awesome. But we're structuring it the same as we do every year. We'll be kicking off with Song of the Year, and then we'll be going into honorable mentions, and then we'll finish off with the top 10 albums. Everything we'll be going in ascending order for all of those categories, kicking it off with Song of the Year. My number 5 is Kane Hill's Permanence in Sleep. Dude, this is the song that got me hooked on the band, and I can see Glory's face. She forgot to consider it. This is the song that hooked me on the band. In previous years, I've tried to, put songs that were only singles that were either standalone or singles that were for records coming out in 2025. This year I said, fuck that. Granted, there's plenty of great songs off of albums that are coming out next year, and I've got those on my list as well. But this song and the impact it had on me, getting me into this band, I just had to note it. It's my favorite song off the album. I've spent a lot of time with the record. So fucking good. It is a little out of left field on the record because the record is a little bit more of this like dark, moody atmosphere kind of thing, and this is like the big metalcore track.
It's so fucking crazy though.
But I'm glad that obviously this is the kind of song that would get me into the band because I am so into this style of music, but that I was able to resonate with the rest of the album because it isn't exactly like this song. This is the outlier on the album. Great song.
Great song. Yeah. Great start. That's fucking that got me already. I was like, fuck. Shout out that fucking song. Damn, there's gonna be a lot of that where I'm like, fuck, I did forget something.
Just so you know, Glory and I did not discuss our lists beforehand. We made sure not to.
Yeah, we never do that because we like the surprise. We like the shit or the really.
We discussed one thing about my list going into this, but that was it.
And I went, really?
Seriously?
My number 5 for my singles is 70% Dead, Wargasm, featuring fucking Corey motherfucking Taylor.
Dude, I forgot about that. Fuck.
Dude, I can't forget about it. I think it's in like my top. It's number 65 on my top 2024
That's so
songs.
awesome.
I fucking love this song. I think the energy's crazy. I think it's very topical. It's talking about, if you actually read into the lyrics, it's talking about the government kind of like taking control of your body, monetizing it, using it in like taking away your rights, that type of shit. I think it's fucking crazy. I love it so much. And it's just an insane sounding song. I love it. It's so catchy. Fucking earworm central.
Hell
Big
yeah.
fan.
That's a great pick. My number 4 is Spirit Box Soft Spine. I almost didn't put this one on my list, and then I got a TikTok of it being played live in full last night. I was like, God damn, you're right.
Yeah, it should be on my list. You're
yeah,
right.
one of my most anticipated records of 2025 is the upcoming Spirit Box album. This was a fantastic first single. I love Spirit Box, both sides of Spirit Box. The experimental side where they kind of do whatever the fuck they want, and then just the straight up ass beater. This is the definition of a straight up ass beater. I love that it opens with that line, "You all deserve each other," and then just kicks into just mayhem. Great song, very amped on this upcoming album.
Damn right. I'm very excited for that record. I hope it's the one that actually gets me into them fully.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Touch by The Main. Big fan of The Main. I think, honestly, I don't think they could do no wrong. This is just a very pop, fucking, like, a little erotic ass song. It's still fun, it's bouncy, and it's cute. I really like it a lot, even though I still don't know what he's saying about the fucking window. I think they did add lyrics. I still don't know what he says, but I mean, I mumble along because he's mumbling, so I'll mumble too. Yeah, big fan of The Main. Really fucking like this track.
Hell yeah. My number 3 is Knock Loose and Poppy's Suffocate.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, this song is fucking crazy, and the life that this song has taken on couldn't have been expected. I remember, when this album was announced and the track list was announced and people saw the Poppy feature and they were complaining because like Poppy, can go either way, and really, had went heavy but hadn't went where she went with this album and the features that she's done this year. So people were complaining, and it's been funny to watch every single person eat their words, because now this song is nominated for a Grammy. They just performed on Jimmy Kimmel, and it was one of the most badass TV performances ever. And I really hope that this song wins the Grammy, because that would be huge. Either them or Spirit Box, because they're both nominated. And yeah, I've been digging this song a lot. Dug the entire album, but this is one of the standouts on the record for me.
Yeah, for sure. Damn right, solid. My number 3 is Ratata by Baby Metal featuring Electric Callboy. Big fan of both of these artists, more so the Electric Callboy side than Baby Metal side. I've always kind of been an admirer of Baby Metal because I think just what they do is really fucking cool. It sounds cool, it looks cool. I don't know. So when I saw this announcement, this song come into play, I immediately knew it was gonna place somewhere on my list. Because the two energies are the same, just in 2 different fonts. And it's so fucking exciting. It is such a big song. I think they nail it. I think it's a little corny. I think it's fucking I love it. I love it so much. It's such a fun fucking song.
Yeah. That's a great song. We discussed yesterday because Spotify Rap came out, and I got the Baby Metal video, and I never went out of my way to listen to that song, but I listened to it so much this year, that it just in passing on radio and stuff like that, it is a very catchy song.
Absolutely
solid pick.
Yeah. Oof.
My number 2 is Architect's Curse. And I will, as a soft, honorable mention nomination, Whiplash, also from off the record. But Curse is the one that I spent a ton of time with this year. It is just I feel like all the singles off of this upcoming Architects record, another one of my most anticipated albums of next year, is kind of like a return to form, because the last record was kind of left me with something to be desired, especially when the record before that was so fucking big, got me into the band. So, this is just straight up catchy. It's got that big fucking chorus on it. It's not super heavy. Seeing Red and Whiplash are definitely the heavier of the two track, or heavier of the three tracks that have been out so far, but just got a smashing chorus on it. I've been listening to this song a ton, very amped on this album.
Damn right. That song, I forgot about it, and I remember I was really fucking hyped when I first heard it, and now I'm like, shit, okay. My number 2 is Afraid to Die by Movements. I think this song is so fucking good. I don't know. I just woke up one day after weeks after we had reviewed it, and it was just in my head, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll listen to that. And then it's just been on loop ever since. And that was a couple months ago. I've recently gotten into Movements lightly. I mean, I'm getting into Movements, and this song definitely was my gateway to it. And actually gateway to their music, and going, oh shit, I can listen to this, outside of the podcast, not just when we're reviewing them. Because we did review their album Ruckus, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and that was late last year. I think that was 2023.
It was 2023.
See, I'm learning. I got it. But I think this song is great. I think it just tackles the topic of being fucking scared to die really well. Me personally, I don't relate, but I fucking love the emotion in it. And I think it's great. I don't know. The energy is incredible.
Hell yeah. And my number 1 is Memphis Mayfire's Chaotic. This is the epitome of a metalcore track for me. I keep saying it, but these singles off of upcoming records are songs of the year for me for a reason. So this is another highly anticipated record for me, although I fear we're going to hear a good chunk of it before the album comes out early next year, just based on the rollout so far. But this song in particular, the first time I heard it, I was like, God damn, I know Memphis Mayfire is good, but I did not know that they would make a song this good.
Exactly. Come on, man.
Instantly went on loop. Insanely catchy. It's got, the heavy moment, but that super catchy, very, very pop focused chorus on it that I really dig. Just been fucking with this song a lot, and all the songs off the upcoming record, but this one in particular was the track I spent the most time with this year.
Yeah, damn right. Shout out Maddie Mullins, for real.
Shout out Maddie Mullins.
Shout out Maddie Mullins. My number 1 single of the year is Euphoria by Kendrick Lamar. This song is, I believe, close to 7 minutes. And it does not feel like 7 minutes. When this first came out, I listened to it, I think, for 24 hours, straight. It was the only song that I listened to the entire day. I think it has 5 different beat switches. It rarely has any repeating words. It's just, he's just floating the entire time. He's dissecting things. I think it's great, and I honestly wish that Euphoria was getting the amount of praise and respect and recognition that Not Like Us is getting, because Not Like Us, to me, not as good as Euphoria. Catchy as fuck, makes me want to dance a little bit, but Euphoria is that track. Really like this a lot, and big fan of fucking Euphoria.
Hell yeah. Well, that concludes the Song of the Year portion. I don't know. You pulled out a couple wild cards. The Movement's one I expected, although I didn't realize that song came out this year.
This year.
And I honestly forgot about the main track entirely.
That's so fair. That's so
I feel like that happens every year. You pull out something that I'm like, that happened.
You're like, wait a minute, because I'm telling you, man, I've been keeping track. If something catches my ear and I listen to it for a certain amount of time, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's just throw it on there. I'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. So, but now we're jumping into honorable mentions. I don't know about you, but I personally did my best to organize these as bottom is bottom, and then the top is like could have made the album of the year list if some of these records didn't exist. I did my best. I
tried. I really tried.
I really tried. Kicking it off with Mothica, her album Kissing Death. We got to have her on here to chat about it. It's a fantastic interview. You should check it out. But literally the only reason why this album is so low is because I just didn't spend enough time with it at all. There's so many fantastic songs on here. I love the way it opens with The Void. I love Curiosity Killed the Moth. The Reaper is fantastic as well. There's so many great songs on this album, but it's just solely the fact that I was digging through my last FM, because that's kind of how I help build mine. I don't keep track throughout the year. I'm like, I'm like at the 11th hour, I'm like, Lori, when do you want to do this? And she's like, this day is good. And I'm like, fuck. Then the morning of, I'm like, let me put the list together.
No, actually, so we were supposed to do this earlier in the week, and you were like, I'm not ready. Can we do something else tonight?
I'm not ready. I wasn't ready at all. I was at a show the night before, and I was at a show the last night too, but I prepped. I at least wrote a list down, and I was like, I'll organize it in the morning.
I'll figure it out. And thank you, and you made it, and we're here.
I made it. We couldn't move it anymore.
No, we couldn't, because
we're running out of time.
We're about to shut down the podcast in a second for the year. So I mean,
we're running out of time. But yes, this album, solely because it I just didn't spend enough time with it this year. It is literally no disrespect to the art, because the album is phenomenal, and it's more so on here to remind myself to spend more time with it.
Absolutely. There you go. That's how I see my honorable mentions as well. It's like little bookmarks where it's like, you didn't spend enough time, but you should revisit it. My number 10 is Make Them Suffer's self-titled Make Them Suffer. Really big fan of this fucking record. I really liked all of the singles that they dropped. Shout out Oscillator. That track especially is fucking crazy. I had it on repeat for like a week, and it was like the only thing I could consume for a second. And that's how I know you did something right. Great track. I need to revisit it more, but I remember the first couple times I listened to it, I was like kind of just like fucking gobsmacked, you know? Like it was just fucking crazy. Big fan. Big fan of the contrasting vocals as well. I always love that type of dynamic in music. So yeah, thumbs up.
Hell yeah. Next up for me is Destroy Rebuild Until God Shows, their album Until God Shows. This is just a catchy ass metalcore record. There is not a single slow point on this album, and huge shout out to Hunger Pangs. That would have been an honorable mention song of the year if we did that. But yes, just overall another phenomenal album. This is also the record that got me really interested in drugs, because we covered their comeback record, and thought it was cool, but it really didn't catch me in any sort of way. But this album, and particularly that song Hunger Pangs, was the one that was like, oh, I'm tuned the fuck in.
Like, wait a minute, have you guys been doing this shit the whole time?
And then this album in total, some other songs like Malice are just fucking awesome. Overall, phenomenal album.
Damn right. Good pick. Fucking solid pick. My number 9 is Ocean Grove's Odd World. This fucking album, I said it on the podcast when we initially reviewed it, and I'm going to say it again, gave me just a sense of fucking childlike wonder when I first heard it, because it has so much ear candy, so many different sounds, so many different genres mixed into it. And it's still very tolerable. You can still, it's not overwhelming, but it's kind of on the edge of, wow, this is a lot, but wow, I'm really fucking with it. This is great. Shout out to OTP. Shout out, honestly, Cell Division, and then Raindrop. Big fan of just this entire record. I wish it was a bit longer, but honorable mention. I need more time with it. More time.
Hell yeah. Next up for me is Jarris Johnson's Dragonborn.
True.
We had Jarris on the podcast to chat about this. It was a fantastic chat. And this record blew me the hell away. Previously with Jarris, I didn't know what the fuck he was doing. I wasn't the biggest fan, gonna be honest with you. Saw him open for Korn, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I still haven't listened to that album in full, but I heard a chunk of it because that was the record he was touring off of at the time, that first album. But this new album, caught my attention. Mainly what grabbed my attention was a song that's not even on the record, which is "Battling My Demons," the meme song with with the Plankton AI. Doesn't matter. That song is so fucking catchy. But that got me on his Spotify page, listening to the singles that were out at the time, which the one that caught my ear was "When the Darkness Comes." And getting to hear the album in full, it blew me the hell away. It's it's very like Viking and Dragon inspired, but it's a really fucking cool album and a very cool concept. When the Darkness Comes is one of my favorites, as well as Welcome to Valhalla. That is such a badass fucking song. And Not a Person, Freak, and Eat, Drink, War, Repeat are two songs that I had on a loop for a while. But yeah, overall, this is a stellar record.
Damn right, that's a solid fucking pick. I did forget about that album, but I'm so happy you reminded me of that because that shit was awesome.
Hell yeah.
My number 8 is Red Hook's Mutation. I'm so happy that this made it on before we did the review, before we did the album of the year summary. This album is so much fucking fun to listen to. I've always been a massive fan of Emmy's vocals. I think they are giddy, like they kind of put you on edge sometimes with some of the tracks. I think it's like that perfect balance of like, wow, that's really catchy, unique, and kind of like, is there something else going on here? Like, what's that little vibe I'm getting? I think this is incredible. Cannibal was the first single that really got me into the album and made me go, oh fuck, I gotta really pay attention to this shit now. So ever since then, I've been fully tapped in. Dr. Frankenstein featuring Holding Absence is incredible. Breaking Up With is fucking incredible. Party Zombie is so fucking fun. Taurus is great. Scream 2 is great. I can name the entire fucking record. I've basically named half of it already, but I think it's literally all killer, no filler. I just wish I had more time with it. That's the only reason why it isn't on my top 10, because it just came out. And I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the other albums that I've spent a lot more time with. But yeah. If it was a top 20, it would be up there. It'd be number 18, right? Yeah, number 18, right there for you. Yeah. But great fucking album.
That's a great pick. That is a record that I forgot to note on here because I just didn't get to spend enough time with it at all. Like it was literally that one listen, and then all of a sudden we did that podcast, and now we took a week off, and now we're doing this. So That is a good pick, though. Very solid. Next up for me is Belmont's Liminal, another band that we had on the podcast. What are you wowing? Because it's so low?
Yeah.
Dude.
Fuck? Okay, sorry.
Again, just I don't want to say it for every goddamn record because I have another one coming up that's literally the epitome of this, but did not get to spend enough time with it. It is a very solid album, though. I've really enjoyed the shift in sound that we've been getting from Belmont, while still maintaining what got me into the band originally, which is the easy core element of the band. But they've gotten a little bit more electronic with it, and there's beats and boops and bops throughout the album that are really fucking awesome. Big fan of the title track Liminal, Day by Day, All Bite.
Liminal. So
many fantastic songs on this album. It's literally just it's the definition of a case of did not spend enough time with it.
Yeah. You need to revisit that shit.
Yeah.
All of that album. Oh my god. My number 7 is Throne's Excessive Guilt. Holy shit. So this was an immediate love at first sight. I actually stumbled upon Throne before we even covered them on the podcast. I found On the Verge on YouTube when I was listening. I just had shit up on YouTube. And I remember just sitting there in awe. And I was like, whoa, we got to a breakdown that quickly? What the fuck? The entire record is breakdowns. It feels like just one long song with just a shit ton of breakdowns. On the Verge is obviously my favorite. I think it goes fucking crazy. I love Bitter Friend. I love Guilt. I love Vent. I fucking love Bloodsucker. Heavy tracks. It's like, come on. Like, how can you not love that? Um, I think it's heavy as shit. I don't think it's overwhelming at all. I think they incorporate the rap elements very nicely. It doesn't feel like half-assed or anything. Big fan of this. I fucking love it.
That's another solid pick. I actually had that on my honorable mentions for a hot second.
You took it.
It wound up getting booted off in favor of albums that I spent a little bit more time with throughout the year, but I had that towards the tail end of my list, so that is a good pick. Now this next album is what I'm talking about, the definition of did not spend enough time with, but had to put a little bit higher because I love this band so much. It's like Monster Flames and their album The Cycles of Trying to Cope. This album came out the same day as the Knocked Loose record.
It did.
Which is just so fucking disappointing. It kind of like reeked of when not that it mattered to either of us because we were over this one band, especially you, but what like the Water Parks and 21 Pilots coming out on the same day, it kind of felt so funny. It kind of felt like that, except that didn't impact either of us because we were just like, we're gonna obviously listen to the Water Parks record and only that. But like, if I was a fan of both of those bands, I can imagine how those people felt when that happened, because like seeing Knock Loose and Like Monster Flames release on the same day, I'm like, fuck, dude. I did not expect the Knock Loose album to hit me as hard as it did, but I just wound up spending more time with that album, and this one kind of just, as it just quickly gets moving the way that and Gloria and I were talking about this before we started recording. The way that this fucking works for us is like we are constantly listening to the newest thing, so very quickly can forget about a release just because we're constantly checking out the newest thing. And there's albums for me every year that I never expect to enjoy, just because by the nature of what we're doing, we're checking out so much new music that things are catching my ear. There's a couple of albums this year that are super high on my album of the year list that last year I would have told you I didn't even know what the fucking band was, let alone let alone them being up in the top 5. So this album is fantastic. The amount of time I spent with it, I especially, not that it's on the record, but the additional song that they dropped that was a vinyl only exclusive, Soul Exchange, I've been enjoying that a lot as well. Okay. But Over the Garden Wall, Without a Trace, Gone Without a Trace, those two songs back to back are phenomenal. This album is fantastic. Again, it is no discredit to that, but that is a tough release week. Fantastic on paper, tough in actuality when both albums are so awesome.
Exactly. Who fucking planned that? Do better, guys. Yeah. Do better. My number 6 is 4 Years Strong, Analysis Paralysis. Shout out this record for real. So I've always been kind of a 4 Years Strong spectator. Never really got into their music. They've always been a name that I've known. We reviewed Brain Pain when it came out fucking 3 years ago or something.
It was 2020.
4 years ago. And it was kind of in one ear out the other. A lot of people enjoyed it. It resonated for a lot of people, but I guess I wasn't. You included. Me personally, it didn't really click fully for me. This album, though, I have revisited multiple times since it has come out. I think all the tracks are fucking crazy, but specifically Aftermath, Afterthought, which was a single, which is great. Daddy of Mine, Uncooked, Dead End Friend, Roller Coaster, Paranoia. I think these songs are incredible. I think the energy is insane. I think a lot of them are fun and kind of they tease you a little bit. It's just, I think they did everything right on this record. I just wish I spent more time with it, because if I did, that shit would have been up in the top 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fucking love this record a lot.
Hell yeah.
And we spoke to them. So if you want to go check that out, go do that.
Yeah, exactly. You'll never believe what's next for me, Glory.
What's next for you?
4 Years Strong and their
Yeah,
album Analysis Paralysis.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Try to be fucking unique, dude.
The entire reason we moved this, we were supposed to record this on Monday, we're now recording on a Thursday, is because I went and saw 4 Years Strong on their Analysis Paralysis tour on Sunday night, and I wasn't prepared for this. Fantastic album. Like as Glory said, the opening track, Aftermath, Afterthought, sets the fucking tone for this album. And then leading into Bad Habit, that 1-2 punch with the hoo. Oh, dude. I love the hoo.
Yeah,
in that song. I wish they did that throughout the entire song. It wouldn't hit as hard, but there's a small part of me that wishes that it did, and when I'm listening to the song in the car, I am doing it throughout the entire song. I think it sounds fucking awesome. So many fucking great songs on this record. Obviously all the singles, but a special shout out I want to make is Better Get Better. I really enjoy that song. But front to back, a smasher. Really the definition of like what a 4 Year Strong record is to me. Just like just straight up ass beaters. Like, you know, they get lumped into a little bit more of the pop punk side of things because they come from that easycore background, but this record is just so heavy. And heavier than I honestly expected it to be. There's not a lot of slower moments on here. There are a couple, but it's mainly just ass beaters, and I really, I love a good ass beater.
Yeah, damn right. Shout out that fucking album, dude. My number 5 is Eminence's The Black. Oh, okay. So this record had me in a chokehold for like the first week or so that it came out. And I remember when I first reviewed it, you were like, damn, I didn't realize you fucking liked it that much. And I was like, it really just scratches that itch that I didn't know I fucking had. It perfectly blends metal, heavy metal, with the grace of classical music. It's just, how the fuck do you do that? It's just fucking beautiful. It's beautiful to listen to because it sounds like two sounds fighting. Just there is a story. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I'm like 90% sure it is a concept record, I think. We interviewed Eminence, if you would like to check that out. And fact check me. I could be completely wrong. That was like 9 months ago when we did that. So that shit's out of my brain. But I think it sounds fucking beautiful. I really want to see and witness this live because I knew they do all the instruments live, and that would just be fucking crazy to see. Shout out the opener, Come Hell or High Water. I fucking love Death by a Thousand Cuts, Cul-de-sac, Heaven Shall Burn, the title track, The Black, and then also Continuum. All of those tracks, fucking incredible. I love this album so much. It's so beautiful. And it's so unique. I don't hear this shit ever. This is like the only time I've heard a band combine these two drastically different genres and make it work for an entire record, not just one song, not just like we have a little standout track. Entire fucking record. Yeah. I honestly, this is another one of those that I kind of forgot about, and I forgot that you enjoyed it so much, but it makes sense why now when the Eminence tour announced and they're bringing out Landmarks, and it's coming to the venue near me, and then there was that Kill Switch Engage tour that announced with Fit for a King and Kubla Khan as support, and that's on the same day in Philly, and I go, Glory, which one do you think I should go to? And she's like, Eminence, obviously. Duh,
and I was like,
on.
yeah, that makes sense because I haven't seen Eminence before, and I've only seen Landmarks once, whereas Kubla Khan and Fit for a King, I literally just saw it together in Scranton. And I've seen both of those bands a shitload of times, but now it makes sense because I forgot how much you enjoyed that album. Obviously, that's the obvious recommendation from you. That's the band that you enjoy out of all those bands that I was like, which one should I go see?
That one.
Yeah, makes sense. I probably will be going.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Just I would like to see Eminence again. I have seen Fit for a King and Kubla Khan a bunch of times, and
it's okay to switch it up, you know? It's like so okay.
Don't need to go see the old Reliable, you know? Next up for me is, I don't know how about They Found Me's Gloom Division.
That was this year.
Yeah, it was early this year. I've been digging, like, as much as I love the I Don't Know How EP, 1981 extended play, and we'll talk about that EP until the end of time.
Yeah.
I like the sound change that has happened since then. I mean, that was really the only record we got from them with that kind of sound, and it definitely did alienate some people. You know, Glory in particular has not really enjoyed much since then. She's always kind of been like, I would like if we went back to that.
Let's go back to the EP sound, please.
But for me, I enjoy it. It's definitely I feel like the baseline of what they were doing on that EP still shines through on everything that they've done on the past two records, but is just not as 80s inspired. Because like obviously that record is very much like that's the entire vibe. You watch music videos, you get that vibe from it. This is a little bit more modern, but I enjoy this kind of sound a lot, as much as I enjoy metalcore and heavy music. Dancey pop synth music is something I gravitate towards if it's the right record, and this album in particular and this band has been a band that I've loved a lot for a long time. So this record been fucking with it a good bit. I also my mom likes this band, so when we're in the car together, this is one of the records that I'll turn on, hence why I've spent more time with it than I probably would have. So it's just like kind of by design. This one's just in there because I throw on I Don't Know How when we're in the car together, and rack up the plays on this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Shout out mom.
Yeah.
That's crazy. My number 4 is While She Sleeps, Self Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out this song. We interviewed Sean from While She Sleeps, and I think about that interview a lot. Because it was really good and it was just a good vibe, and I remember being like, fucking To the Flowers is the best song off this record, and I fucking love it. I stand by that still. I do think it is the best song off the fucking record. I think Sean goes fucking crazy. He has 2 solos in it, and both of them get me this close to crying. I don't know what the fuck he put in it, but it's crazy. And I do believe he's my favorite guitarist in the scene right now.
I could tell.
And I do think
I could tell by all the times you share.
I share him because I'm like, everyone needs to fucking see this shit. I don't want him to be forgotten or like looked over, because I do think he's really fucking talented and he deserves his fucking flowers. So I think this album's incredible. Aside from To the Flowers, I think the guitar work overall, Sean fucking killed it. I love Leave Me Alone, Rainbows, the title track, and then Out of the Blue. I think this record... Oh, and Down, featuring Male Violence. This record is really fucking good. I wish I spent more time with it. I'm hoping to spend more time with it. But this was my full introduction to While She Sleeps. And goddamn, they got me. They got my ass.
Yeah. Next up for me, it wouldn't be an album of the year discussion without me pulling out one pick that is like, Shane, why? This one is Falling in Reverse and their record Popular Monster. Now I'm going to be honest with you. This could have had album of the year potential if it was rolled out like an album. Because, my main reasoning for putting it here is quite frankly the fact that we've had some of these songs for years. So when the album came out, I spent a little bit of time listening to it as a full record, but I spent more time just listening to the songs I hadn't heard yet, which were Bad Guy, Trigger Warning, and No Fear. Trigger Warning wound up on my Spotify rap top songs, like on the chart. I was like, God damn it. It was that and Battling My Demons. I'm like, Battling My Demons. I'm like, God damn it. Can't have one normal Spotify wrapped. At least it wasn't the Home Depot beat like that one year. But that was tough. This record just, I think there's a reason why the band has gotten so big. The songs are solid. Special shout out to All My Life, Still Don't Like That song.
Shout out, fucking hate it.
Yeah, with Jelly Roll. But the rest of the record, I do enjoy. But yeah, the just the rollout. I hope that there's not another rollout like that. I understand the power of singles and the power of a rollout, like what Memphis Mayfire does, where the songs come out as singles, and then eventually come into a record with 1 or 2 new songs. But at least that is over the course of a year. This is over the course of several years. There was supposed to be an EP. It eventually turned into a record. It like had The Last Resort reimagined on the end of it, which is a Papa Roach song. So it's like it's already short and a bunch of singles, and now you're giving us a reimagined version of a song that isn't even yours. Got my qualms with this record, but I enjoyed a good chunk of it throughout the past several years. So I wanted to just spotlight it real quick. Not a top 10 record though. We're keeping it in the honorable mentions. And that concludes the Shane's what the fuck portion of the discussion.
So everything else is like normal, right?
I hope so.
Okay, we'll see. My number 3 is Kendrick Lamar's GNX. Fuck, if he dropped this earlier in the year, it would have been on the album of the year list. But again, I have to prioritize the albums I've actually spent a lot more time with versus the Love at First Sight ones where it's like, oh, this is really, really good, but I couldn't, sing along to it. I can't do that shit. I think the album's great. It has a lot of great features. I think all of the features are hits. Really big fan of Gloria. I don't know why I would be a fan of that one though.
Dude, that's weird.
Right? Squabble Up is really fucking good. I love Reincarnated. I love Dodger Blue. The Heart 6, and then the title track. Big fan of fucking honestly all the tracks. Just need more time with it. Wish it wasn't dropped like 2 weeks ago. Last week?
2 weeks ago.
Last week, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
It was dropped like so fucking recently that it's like I don't have enough time with it to actually qualify it as a top 10. Incredible work though. Fucking love it.
Hell yeah. Next up for me is Linkin Park's From Zero. I haven't spent a ton of time with the album in full, but I felt the need to put it on my honorable mentions as high as I did, solely because the impact that the singles, in particular the Emptiness Machine, had on me. Because I went from someone that was like, yeah, Linkin Park's great, and I appreciate what they've done for the scene and the impact that they've had. But I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried, and it is not for me. Much respect to everybody that it is for, but it's not for me. And I really didn't try to break that because it's like they're not going to come back. They're not going to be touring. There's not going to be a festival that I'm at that they're going to be headlining where I'm going to not know anything besides the hits. Like, it's okay. I'll be able to scoot by and not come in contact with this band live. And then they were like, fuck you, we're back.
Hey, we're here.
Yeah, we're so back.
Linkin Park. Oh my god.
And I was like, fuck it, fine, I'll check out the Emptiness Machine, and it blew me the hell away. I think that Emily, as the new vocalist, obviously trading off with Mike, is such a fantastic combo, and she is such a powerful vocalist. I really dig her vocal ability. And I went from someone that was like, yeah, man, like Linkin Park's cool, but like if you're a fan of them, that's great. I don't hate you for it. I don't think they suck. They're just not for me. Too. I got tickets to see them next August, and I am so fucking amped. So I'm gonna be spending more time with this album. There's another record that came out that same week that took a little bit more of my time immediately, but this is a record I will definitely be coming back to, especially as that show gets closer. I know I'll be spending more time with it. Big shout out to the Emptiness Machine and Heavy is the Crown, Two-Faced, and IGYEIH, which, if we hang on 1 second here, I'll tell you exactly what it means. I gave you everything I have. Fantastic song. That's a non-single, so I felt the need to name it. But I've been digging this record a lot, digging Emily and the band. I think she's I enjoy watching the social media content because I just think that she's an entertaining person. But yeah, been fucking with this. Only honorable mention because there was another record that came out that same week, hint hint, that I spent a little bit more time with, and we'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that in a hot second.
Yeah.
Number two for me is Kane Hill's "Piece of Me I Never Let You Find." Shout out
Yeah.
that fucking record. I think it is beautifully done. I think it sounds incredible. We spoke to Kane Hill
We
if you
did.
guys would like to check it out, and it was a lot of fun. And fuck, what do you call us, little
Yeah.
Zoomers? I think that's fucking
That
awesome.
was
Shout out
awesome.
little Zoomers. That genuinely that brought me so much joy. I was like, oh, little Zoomers, okay. We already kind of spoke about it because it was in your single top 10, top five. Fuck.
Mhm.
Permanence in Sleep is fucking incredible. It's in all of my playlists. I think it's fucking woozy. I think it's heavy. I think it's fun. I fucking love that song a lot. I love Eye to Eye. I love Drowning Therapy. I love Fade. Fade Into You is also great. And Ecstasy and Grief. The entire record is fucking incredible. Well done. It sounds so fucking good. I'm overusing the word incredible, but genuinely, this record, if I'd spent more time with it, would have been in the top 10. It's just I got so swept up with so many other records, but fuck, I'm revisiting this one immediately. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And my last honorable mention, so close to being top 10 and was there for a second while I was putting this list together and got booted out.
Oh.
While She Sleeps, Self Hell.
Oh.
You know, this, and the only reason why it got booted out is because it was like a blip, you know, that I spent a shitload of time with and then kind of fell off of in favor of obviously other records. But I did spend a lot of time with this album throughout the year, you know, hearing this for the first time. You know, I was blown the hell away. You know, I've been seeing people on Twitter, you know, talking about like what was your metalcore disappointments, and this is one of those records that keeps coming up, and I'm just like, did we hear the same album? Because yes, there are definitely moments on this album, and we discussed this in our review as well, like where there's the two like weird interlude type tracks that are pretty much stacked on top of each other with one song in the middle.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, and I don't really enjoy that part of the record, but everything around that is straight up fucking ass beaters. So many fantastic songs on this record. I love Leave Me Alone. To the Flowers is one of the best tracks of the year. Self Hell, the title track, is a fucking ripper. You know, there's just, and Radical Hatred, Radical Love, as I was scrolling through the track list here, that song as a closer is fucking awesome. This album has so many great moments. I'm like a little lost on, you know, this being in that discussion that I've been seeing online as a record that was a disappointment. Because it wasn't for us.
Crazy work.
Yeah.
Crazy work.
Big,
That's actually
yeah,
fuck?
big fan of this album. As I said, if we were making it a top 11, this would have been in there. It was sitting in the top 10 for a second, but when I was shuffling things around, it got booted. Love this album a lot. I will be spending more time with it, and it was great to see them live this year playing tracks off the album opening for Architects.
Damn right. I'm still very jealous of that, by the way.
Yeah, well, stay mad.
My number one is Speed's Only One Mode.
Yeah. I saw that when I was going through, like just last minute checking my last FM. Like that's gonna be on Glory's list.
Oh, 100%, dude. It's my fucking number one honorable mention. This was on my top 10, and it got bumped off, because something was released, and I'm very upset about it. But honestly, it could be, you could change it up, put it in my top 10, take it out of my top 10. It is one of the best fucking records to drop this year. I can say that wholeheartedly. Thankfully, they are getting their flowers for it. They won like an ARIA award, which is insane. Congratulations. That's so fucking cool. I think that this band just has so much fucking swagger. I'm not even joking. Like, I see them.
They're so fucking cool.
They just have aura. Like, and I don't use that word, but it's just all of the pictures that they take together. I'm like, fuck, those guys are cool as shit. Like, they just look cool. Their stage presence is fucking awesome, powerful as shit. They claim that fucking stage, even with other people running around and doing whatever the hell. That is their territory. That is their spot. You are in their home. It's fucking awesome. My favorite songs are I fucking love Caught in a Craze. I love I Mean It. I love No Love But For Our Own. Send Them to Sydney. Of course, The First Test. Honestly, The First Test, I kind of overplayed the fuck out of it So now like Real Life Love is my favorite in place of that. I think I named like 80% of the record, but I really fucking love it. I spent a lot of time with this record when it first came out. Like I'm talking like I racked up like maybe like 500-600 plays on it. Big fan. Really fucking love it. I was not lying in that interview when I was like, guys, you are like the first hardcore record that I can wholeheartedly say I fucking love. And that's it. I love this record so much.
Yeah, hell yeah. And as Gloria
Yeah.
said, we did chat with them, and it was a fantastic chat. Finally, getting to sit down with Jem and chat about the album. Moving on here, that concludes
big one.
our
Yeah.
honorable mentions. Moving on to the Big Ten, the reason we're all here. Kicking it off with number 10, Poppy's album Negative Spaces. This is what I was obviously alluding to when we were talking about Linkin Park. Those albums came out the same week, the same day, and this was the one I initially clicked on to listen to first, because I kind of knew what we were going to get from Linkin Park based on the singles. They had done a good job of showcasing all the different sides of what the album was going to be, and what they showcased with the singles is basically what we wound up getting with the record. Nothing wrong with that. Poppy, on the other hand, was doing the same thing, but her singles were all over the fucking place.
Everywhere.
There was heavy ass beaters and then pop tracks. And I wanted to know what the fuck the album was going to wind up being, if those heavy songs were going to be the only heavy songs on the record. So I listened to this album first, blew me the fuck away, and I just spent more time with it, and I have been loving it so much. We discussed it on the review, where it's like it starts out heavy, and it's like stacked, where it's like there's a heavy portion and then a poppier portion and then another heavy and then another poppy. The weaving is not, the whiplash of heavy poppy, heavy poppy, heavy poppy, heavy, it's more so in chunks, which I appreciate. But, listening through this album in its entirety, I've learned to appreciate those poppier, softer tracks more, because I was obviously digging the heavy songs that were getting me so fucking amped on this album, especially, that last record that she put out, we both agreed was not great. So the heavy songs had me excited, but I was still the softer ones. I was like, I don't know, especially Crystallized, which was a single, wound up being one of my favorites on the album. I was not sure about that when we first heard it, but now it is one of my favorites. I love the way this opens with "Have You Had Enough?" The costs of giving up, they're all around us. A great 1, 2, 3 punch, and then you've got Yesterday, which is like a short interlude kind of track into Crystallized. Also a big fan of The Center's Falling Out and New Way Out. I obviously gravitate towards the heavier stuff, but overall I'm a big fan of this album. I think she knocked it out of the park. This is exactly the kind of record that we needed after the last album, and exactly the kind of record that I wanted based on the features that she was doing leading up to this album. It just made sense to go all the way with it and get super heavy, because she's dabbled in it. She's done some industrial kind of metal, but has not just went straight up ass beaters, and she finally went there on this record, and I'm hoping that this is the lane that she stays in, because I'm here for it.
Yeah, damn right. I fucking love that record a lot.
Hell yeah.
My number 10 is The Plot News, volumes 1 through 3. I'm counting all 3 EPs
That's
as
fair
one
enough.
album, because they're all 3 tracks long, and I can't choose because I like a couple tracks off of each. So, Divide is incredible, which is off the red one, which is the first one. And then Don't Look Away is off of the second one, which is the yellow. And then Spare Me and... Oh, no, I'll just say Spare Me. Spare Me is off of the third one, and that is also one of my favorites. Because it's so fucking fresh and new, and it's beautiful and haunting. I love that song a lot. I was able to see The Plot New, like 3 weeks ago. I don't know, in November, and they were incredible. And after that, I went, yeah, I gotta get into this fucking band, huh? Like, I was already kind of getting into them. Like, all the EPs I knew, but now I have to do like a discography dive now. I gotta do the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole song and dance.
You know. Uh, Incredible EPs. I think they're doing something new and something I've never seen before in music. And even lyrically, it's so fucking complex. I love them so much, and I'm a big fan, massive fan.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. My number 9 is Wage War Stigma, which is another one of those records like we discussed with While She Sleeps, which is an album that people are naming as one of their disappointments. Again, did we listen to the same record?
I just don't understand it.
The first time I heard this album and it opened with the show's about to start, I damn near shit my jeans, bro. I was blown the fuck away because what an opener. It's fucking massive. It's obviously heavy, but it's like that just massive, feels like an arena band opening song. And then kicking right into Self-Sacrifice. That 1-2 punch is one of my favorite combos of the year. So, Magnetic is still a song for me. They can kind of take or leave. It is the wild card of the record. It's also was the lead single, which was an interesting call, but the song has done very well for them on radio. So people like it, and I don't mind it. It's just this album has so many ass beaters on it, and that's the not ass beater of the record. But then there's Nail 5, there's Tombstone.
I love Nail 5.
Yeah, and I could sit here.
Nails in the casket, dance on the
Yeah, exactly. Glory knows. There's so many fantastic songs on here. Blur as well is a little bit more of a catchier, like pop chorus kind of vibe, and I'm into that as well. So many fantastic songs on here. I've been digging it a lot, getting to see them play a massive chunk of this album live, because they played a good chunk of this on their Stigma tour. Was awesome. They opened with the show's about to start into Self-Sacrifice, and I was like, yeah, this is fucking dope. This is exactly how I thought it was going to be.
Crazy work.
This is how I envisioned it when I heard the album for the first time. We had the stream of it, and I put it on in my car driving home, and I heard this damn near shit myself, and then I pictured, and what I pictured is what I saw live in October. So great record.
Yeah, damn right. I agreed. That was supposed to go in my honorable mentions, but I was like, fuck, I don't think I'd spent enough time with it. But Nail 5, that shit is in one of my main playlists, and every time it comes on, I tweak the fuck out. I love it. My number 9 is Idola's Eviscerate.
Hey. Yeah.
I love Idola. This album is incredible. This is the one that really clicked it in for me and made me go, oh, fuck. This band's incredible. They're so fucking good. I think it's technical. I think it's melodic. Oh, I use the buzzword, but it is.
We made it an hour without using the buzzword, bro.
Isn't it crazy? And now I'm going to overuse the fuck out of it. I think how this album flows is incredible. They touch on a lot of different sounds and energies. It's incredible. I fucking love Who of You Will Persevere, No Weapon Form Shall Prosper, A Bridge of Iron and Blood. Those are the first 3 tracks off of the record. I also really love Golgotha, Compendium, Fifth Temple. Guys, come on. I also love Kali Yuga, Ziggurat. Like, A Fistful of Hornets, that's genuinely like almost the entire record.
Yeah, that is.
I've spent so much time with this album, and it blows me away every single time. I almost put the instrumental album on my honorable mentions, but I was like, that's overkill. But I have spent my fair share with that, because damn, it really makes you focus on how technical and how intricate everything about this album is. And I love it so much. I'm so happy they gave it its own little pedestal, because it's so fucking good. I love it a lot.
That's a fantastic pick, and we had the band on the podcast to chat about the record. It was a fantastic chat, mainly with Sergio, but Andrew did join towards the end. We got to pick his brain a little bit as well. Yeah, that, and that record for me, although it's not on any of my lists, kind of tuned me into the band as well, because as we discussed with that album, but as well as the single that they just put out off of their upcoming album coming out at the top of next year. The heaviest the band has been. So for me, you know, that's a one-way ticket to getting me interested.
So going, hey, wait a minute, what have you guys?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
But we've been following the band for a good minute here. So yeah, that album is very solid. Number 8 for me is The Ghosts Inside's Searching for Solace. You've unlocked the buzzword, so I'm going to use it. This album is the definition of melodic. I love it. It is a little bit, you know, very much in its lane and in the same lane for the entire record, like very much what I would hear when I turn on my car and I have Serious Octane on. But as we all know, I fucking love that. And I have been enjoying this record a lot. The first time I heard it, again, I was like, holy shit. Because we had heard the singles, and, you know, I was super into Wash It Away. And I saw them live when that was the only song that was out. And people, the crowd, I was the only one into it around me. I don't know. Like, you know, so I've been fucking with this album big time. You know, it's definitely a departure from their previous stuff. I am somewhat familiar with their previous work, having seen them a bunch of times since they've started touring again. But I really enjoy it. It's right up my alley with the kind of metalcore that I enjoy, and you know, it's just, I think it's a solid record and very well written and very solid choruses, which is what I'm here for. Plenty of like quote unquote octane moments, but I feel like there are also some heavier songs on here, like a track like Death Grip is on the heavier side. Overall, I very much enjoy this album. Spent a lot of time with it. Stoked to hopefully see them again. I know, you know, they just canceled their most recent US tour because they've been touring like crazy, but I got to see them earlier this year tour this album. But you know, always put on a fantastic performance, and this album is fucking dope.
Yeah, damn right. That's a good fucking pick. Okay. My number 8 is Fever 333's Darker White.
Yeah.
This was my first I feel official introduction to Fever 333. We've covered maybe a couple tracks here and there, I think. But this, sitting down and listening to this record, I remember I listened to it specifically on a train ride home from Raleigh. It was the only album I downloaded, and I was like, we're gonna have to talk about this like tomorrow, so I might as well, you know, get a little head start on the playlist.
Yeah.
I listened to it for 4 hours straight on that train, and I was just blown away. I think this record is so fucking fun sound-wise. I think it covers a lot of heavy topics. I just think it's fucking badass. I love the entire vibe of this record. Higher Power, obviously, is one of my favorite tracks off of it. The music video especially really locked that in for me, because what the fuck? That shit's awesome. Y'all are fucking partying in a church? I didn't know that shit was possible. It's awesome. I love Swing. We both fucking went, swing, swing that. Oh, it's so good. I love Tourist. I love No Hostages, DOA. Pin Drop is my second favorite. I fucking love that song with the shh, quiet, you get a pinch. And then the fucking little snares coming in at the end. Goddamn. Yeah. This album, just talking about it's making me very excited again, because I've spent days probably with this record. And it's just so good. It doesn't get old at all. I think the energy off of it's incredible. And big fan. Massive fan.
Hell yeah. My number 7 is Bring Me the Horizon's Posthuman Next Gen.
Fuck.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Now, this album was in quote unquote development hell for a while.
A bit.
But what came out of it wound up being a record that I largely enjoyed. There are still songs on here and moments and portions of this album that are not my favorite. Just, you know, some of the very pop-leaning songs on this album, I wound up not caring for all that much. But there are so many songs on this album that I enjoy a lot that I felt the need to place it on my top 10. Especially Top 10 Statues That Cried Blood, Limousine, and A Bullet with My Name On featuring Under Oath are probably my 3 favorite songs on here, but there's also Amen, which is an absolute fucking
That's
ripper.
a fucking crazy one. Yeah.
You know, and the way it opens with Utopia, just overall, it's a very solid album. It's very Bring Me the Horizon, in the sense of, you know, experimental, out of the box, doing a little bit of everything, but I think they fucking nailed it. I'm hoping that the whatever's next does not take as long as this album did. But what we got as a result is a record that I wound up spending a lot of time with, have been enjoying a lot, and you know, they still play. I've obviously moved on from, you know, listening to this album obsessively, but when it comes on either on a playlist or radio, or you know, they're still playing tracks on Octane, I am not turning that shit off. Very much enjoy this album a lot.
I'm very upset that I forgot about that, because like a week ago I had like a moment with it where it was the only thing I was listening to. That album is incredible. Shout out. Genuinely. If I had remembered, it would have been somewhere on my honorable mentions. My number 7 is Between You and Me's Shit Yeah.
Shit yeah, man.
This EP is so fucking good. It's 6 songs. It's 17 minutes long, not even 20 minutes. I have spent like actually an awful amount of time with this record. I'm pretty sure Nevermind was my 2nd or 3rd top song of the year, which is kind of embarrassing. I don't know. Guys, thank you. Really fucking good EP. All killer, no filler. Kill My Vibe featuring Knuckle Puck is incredible. This was my soundtrack when I went to LA earlier in the year, because it just fits that kind of like sunny, windows down, you're having a good time, you're eating some fresh fruit that you just bought. Great time. Kill My Vibe's incredible. Nevermind is great. I love Yeah. Even though I know they were like, you could tell we were just running out of fucking ideas because we had just one fucking word as the chorus, or whatever the fuck Bassie said in the interview. I still love it, and I still think it's a vibe. It's a heavy vibe. I also love Every Morning, because I love the part where he goes, she's such a freak. I'm like, hell yeah, she is. Hell yeah. Big fan of this EP a lot. So fucking good. So good. I love it.
Hell yeah. My number 6 is Stan Atlantic's Was Here.
Damn right.
We got to have Bonnie on the podcast to chat about the record. It was, you know, we didn't get to have her on about the last album. We had her on to chat about Pink Elephant. Missed the record in between these two. And now we're back with Was Here. It was great to catch up with her. Fantastic chat. This album blew me away. I've been a Stan Atlantic fan for a while. You know, Pink Elephant was my album of the year in 2020. And then Fear was high up there for me in 2022. And that was like the sonic shift towards the heavier stuff. And I love Stan Atlantic. I love their pop punk stuff, but when a band gets heavy and I'm already a fan, sign me the fuck up. This is the perfect blend of Fear, as well as expanding on that and getting heavier and doing different things in the heavy sphere, but also going back to some of their older sound, doing some more pop punk influenced things, and also just, you know, experimenting with other new sounds. This is to me the most experimental that the band has gotten. You know, Fear was experimental in the sense of it all went in one direction. This album kind of experiments with a lot of different things, and I think they nail it all very, very well. I love the way it opens with Wake Up, Sit Down, Shut Up. And then Freaking Out and Kissin' Killer Cobras are two of my other favorites as well. Those are probably my top 3. I obviously loved all the singles, Sex on the Beach, Killer. But those songs, when I heard those in particular, those 3 that I just mentioned, I was like, number 1, why were those not singles? And number 2, holy fucking shit, killer songs. And finding out that one of those songs almost didn't make the album. I can't remember which one, but you know, we were talking about favorites in the interview, and one of
it was Kissing Killer Cobras.
One of Bonnie's favorites was also one of mine, and she was like, that almost didn't make the album. I'm glad they all did, because that fucking song is a ripper. Overall, huge fan. I need to see them on this album cycle. I haven't seen them. Well, no, I saw them before the record was out.
Yeah, you saw them before
Yes,
everything dropped.
yes,
Yeah.
but I need it with everything out, and then playing the songs that I just mentioned that I like that were the, I guess, deep cuts. Play them. I don't care. Play them. I need to hear them.
Guys, just play the full album.
Honestly,
Bands
yeah.
should be doing that more. Genuinely, I don't know why. My number 6 is Belmont's Liminal.
Yeah.
This record scratches that itch that I have in my brain. It is incredible. I think it is genuinely start to finish, just all perfect songs. Dick Rider. Big fan of SSX Trickmont. I always have to break it down for myself and say, hey, you don't have to say it super fast because you're not gonna fucking say it. I think Liminal is one of the best songs written and dropped this year. Not written. I'm pretty sure it was written a good bit ago. Um, Day by Day is incredible. I love Moxie. Play Pretend is really fucking good. N2 is good. Bend, Budge. I love this record so much. I've spent, again, an unhealthy amount of time with this band, with this record, and I got to see them during this era. Did they play All Bite? No, they didn't, and that's so fine, and I'm so okay with that. But it is incredible record. I know we're supposed to be doing like top 3 songs, but I'm going off the rails.
Yeah.
I love all these records so much. I can't name just 3. So yeah, that's it.
We only had a small set of rules for this, and we followed them all. The rest we can go off the fucking rails, bro. Who gives a shit?
Okay, cool.
My number 5 is Knock Loose. You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to. As I alluded to with the Like Moths to Flames portion of the honorable mentions portion of this podcast, those 2 records came out at the same time. One I wound up spending a lot more time with than the other. This was the one. It blew me the fuck away. I have been a Knock Loose enjoyer, for a while now. Been following them loosely. But never got super into it. Even stupidly missed and this is something I will talk about until the end of time. I had an opportunity to either see Beartooth and Wage War or Knock Loose in a 500 cap room with no barricade, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see Beartooth because this was right out of the pandemic. I'd gotten more into Beartooth and Wage War than I did Knock Loose. I will forever punch myself for not going to that. Because
I love when that happens.
Yeah, because then the first time I saw Knock Loose not at a festival was them opening direct support for Motionless in White, and I was sitting in a seat. I wasn't even on the floor. I was sitting in the balcony, and I was
That's
like, God damn, I could have been in a 500 cap room, watching people spin kick. And be in danger. But nonetheless, this is the record that really connected for me. Obviously, as I mentioned, Suffocate, big fan of that one, but pretty much every single song on this record is fucking awesome. I just love the way it flows, and again, the way it just doesn't slow down. Rocking with this one heavy.
Rocking with it heavy. Damn right. Okay. My number 5 is Wind Waker's Hyperviolence.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love this album a lot. Again, unhealthy amount of time with it. Going into the rollout, I didn't think it was going to be a record that was going to kind of hook me immediately. But as soon as they dropped Fractured State of Mind, and I heard that little funky little guitar little beat that they did with the doom, 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 I went, whoa. What the fuck was that? Ever since then, I've been hooked. Really big fan of that shit. I like this album a lot. I think, again, it's one of those things that Throne did where it's kind of like, I think that the addition of rap and hip hop elements aren't phoned in. It's not used as kind of like a cosmetic thing where it's just like, oh, it's the cool thing right now. Liam is obviously a fan of rap hip hop, so it does feel like he has his influences, and you can pick out his influences very easily. I heard your little Kendrick Lamar fucking beat snatch or fucking flow snatch, and I loved it. I thought it sounded great. Shout out Tabula Rasa. Incredible fucking song. It melds a lot of different influences. It melds a lot of different genres because there's a hyper pop element, there's a metalcore element, there's a rap hip hop element. All of it is incredible. I think they did it very, very well. Sirens is incredible. Fractured State of Mind is incredible. Break the Rules, The Wall. Fuck. Vertigo is great. Venom, Tabula Rasa. even Juliet, the slowest song off the record, is still a song. I still don't skip it. I think
Mhm.
it's incredible. Big fan of this record a lot. I know all the lyrics. I have spent a lot of fucking time with this record, and I'm a big fan. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
It's a banger. It's a banger, and we got to chat with them about it, which was fucking awesome. My number 4 was Blind Channel's Exit Emotions. Not an album that I expected to land on my top 10. We have known about Blind Channel for a minute. We had them on the podcast to chat about their 2022 record, and we had them on again to chat about this one. And you know, we both thought that the 2022 album was cool, and was really interesting and different from what we had heard. Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous. But it didn't really, click with me. It was just like, this is cool. This band is awesome. Definitely going to keep following them. And then on to the next thing. And, when it was time for the next record, I was like, yeah, let's tune in. We were covering the singles, thought the singles were cool. But something about hearing the album in full blew me the fuck away. And I spent a shitload of time with this record. I love the 1, 2, 3 punch of Where's the Exit, Dead Zone, and Wolves in California. Wolves in California is my favorite song on the album, hands down. There's also Phobia, Happy Doomsday, Flatline. So many fantastic songs on this album. Really, I spent a lot of time with it. I really fucking enjoyed it. Sad to see them, at the end of, they just finished touring this record, and now they're taking a hiatus because they've been hustling so hard since 2022, which it's understandable, but unfortunate for me because I didn't get to see them at all. But they are saying it's not forever. They simply need time to recover, rest, take some time off the road, take some time away from the band so that they can come back, with a vengeance and hit 10 times harder.
For sure.
So I hope that is the case, and they come back and they come out with something even better than Exit Emotions, because I really fuck with this album heavy.
Damn right. That surprised me a lot, but I understand completely. I get it. Yeah. My number 4 is Rex Orange County's The Alexander Technique.
Yeah.
I love you, Rex Orange County. I fucking love this record a lot. I think he has an incredible... He's so good at songwriting. He's so good at telling a story. I think I really like this record a lot. I don't know. It's at that point where it's like, I just like it. It just makes sense to me. I think God, it has so many elements. It has a lot of theatrical elements. It has a lot of strings. It has horns, and it's very gentle and it's very soft. And it is tackling a lot of different topics. It's talking about him going to therapy, substance abuse, overcoming allegations. It covers a lot of like nostalgia, growing up, fear of growing old, all that fucking shit. And I think it covers it so fucking well. And I love this record a lot. Jesus Christ. So my favorites, Pure, The Table, Much Too Much. I love Finally. When we first reviewed it, I was like, I don't think Finally should have been the closer, because I feel like it just kind of ends. I still kind of understand what I was saying there, but it has grown on me a lot. I think it is a great closer. Definitely not fair to compare it to it's like, I think it's Not the Same Anymore, which is the closer off of Pony, which was it was like a 5-minute track. It had a big like moment, I don't know, but where this one, it just felt like it was just kind of it kind of teetered out near the end. I still really like it. 2 different closers for 2 different albums, so it's unfair of me to compare the 2. Great record. I love every element about it. Again, it's just how he organized all of the different little like piano parts and the orchestras. Oh my God, it's so good. I love this record so much. I've too much time I've spent with this one, and it's an hour long. When it first came out, I listened to it 4 times in a row, and you were like, "You like the fucking record or what?" And I was like, "What do you think? What do you fucking think, dude?"
That's awesome. My God. That's good. Yeah, I expected that one to be on there. My number 3 is Cane Hill's A Piece of Me I Never Let You Find. As Glory said when she mentioned it as an honorable mention, we got to chat with Elijah Witt from the band. It was a fantastic time. But yeah, this record, dude, so fucking awesome. The first time that we heard it, I remember getting in the Zoom call with you and being like, dude,
whoa,
holy shit.
Fuck was that?
Yeah, holy shit. So many fantastic tracks, and this record released, we had it before because we had Elijah on the podcast, but it released when I was away in Scranton, and like I listened to it every chance I could that day because it was in between the two shows, so I was around, driving around, exploring the area and all that shit. So I was listening to it the entire time. When I checked into my my hotel room for the second night, I was listening to it the entire time while I was actually getting a little bit of work done for the podcast. It was just like I had it on that entire weekend, and obviously I've listened to it a bunch since then, but like I spent a shitload of time with this record when it first came out. In particular, I love the Midnight Sun, SSC and Grief, Drowning Therapy, Eye to Eye, Permanence and Sleep, as I mentioned, my favorite song off the album, one of my favorite songs of the year, Finding Euphoria. I could sit here and name every goddamn song off the album. It is fantastic. I was replying and commenting to on Instagram posts saying things like, is this album 700 hours long for anyone else, and album of the year incoming? And listen, it's up there. Really the last three records could all be a toss-up for me for album of the year #1 slot, and it basically just came down to how I'm feeling today, December 5th 2024 at 11 a.m. when we started recording this.
Damn, yeah. Oh damn, yeah. Oh my god. My #3 is the Home Team's The Crucible of Life.
Yeah.
We sat down with the Home Team. If you'd like to watch it, it was a really good conversation. We did the interview and we did not have access to the album, so we went in completely blind and we only knew about the singles at the time. Holy fuck, this album did not disappoint. I have always been kind of an enjoyer of the Home Team. I would see them, actually I hadn't seen them live until this album came out, and then I made a huge attempt to go and see them live because I went, fuck, this album is so good, I need to witness this shit live. Did not disappoint. This album is so poppy, upbeat, it gets your ass moving. You're just fucking jamming the entire way through. The only time it slows down is Walk This World With Me, and even then it's kind of like a fucking slow jam vibe. You're still gonna fucking dance some other way. Like, this shit's crazy. I love Turn You Off. Big fan of Overtime. Somebody Else's Face is my favorite song off of this entire record. That's with the Broadside feature. I love when Ollie is doing the backing vocals at the end where it's like he's just riffing. It just sounds like he's fucking riffing in the back, and I'm like, oh, hit that shit, dude. Sounds crazy. I have really grown attached to All Squeeze Out. I think it's incredible. It, picks right back up. You were completely right in that review where you were like, it's there to pick it up after Walk This World With Me, so it isn't just an immediate fucking hot and cold switch from the slowest song off the record to one of the biggest tracks that they've dropped, one of the biggest singles. And then of course, Loud is so fucking catchy. I streamed that shit like 300 times when it first came out. Embarrassing, I know. Really good though. Great record.
Hell yeah, that's a solid pick. That's very good. My #2 is The Warnings Keep Me Fed. Yeah.
Wow, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh, I thought I had it. Okay.
And I thought that this was going to be my album of the year for the longest time. And really, as I just prefaced, this could have been on another day. We got to have The Warning on the podcast, and it's still one of my favorite interviews we did all year.
Really
I'm very happy with the way that one came out. But hearing this album for the first time and knowing of the band, obviously, because we had them scheduled to be on the podcast and had seen their name tossed around, and like it would come up on Octane, but I would turn it off because like I didn't know what it was or know the song, and there's Limp Bizkit being played on Turbo, so I'll just go listen to that instead.
Why the fuck not? Yeah.
Why discover new music, fucking loser?
When Limp Bizkit exists, come on.
I was like, I'll come in contact with them at some point. This album, bro, I heard it. Normally it's like one and done, so that I'm familiar enough with it going in that we can base a conversation around it.
course. Yeah.
Immediately turned it on and looped it again in the same night, because I was just like blown the hell away by this record. And we did an entire discography dive on them.
We did.
And this is definitely like probably for me the best entry point into the band,
sure.
because it is a little bit heavier throughout. It's definitely a lot more rock focused, which, as I said earlier, there are going to be albums on my top 10 that I never would have expected to have even listened to this year, let alone put on my top 10. This is not normally a record or a band that I would have went for, because it's not in the traditional metalcore lane. They're a little bit more hard rock focused with this album in particular. But so many great moments. It doesn't slow down. It just is hit after hit after hit after hit. I love the way it opens with 6 Feet Deep, Escapism, Satisfied, Sharks, Hell You Call It a Dream, Automatic Sun, bro.
You do fuck with Automatic Sun.
That song is fucking awesome. It has been a second since I spent a shitload of time with this record when it came out. The most time I spent with an album all year was this record. So I checked it out. I gave it a spin last night because it had been a second since I had heard it, and I was like, this is still so sick. Like driving home from the Under Oath show last night, I threw this record on. Dude, so awesome.
Shit's still good.
All killer, no filler. So awesome. Hoping to see them at some point in 2025. I did not get to catch them this year, but I've heard nothing but amazing things of their live performance, so I need to see them. I am amped on this album, amped for the future, and amped to finally be a fan of The Warning, considering how much I had heard of this band going into this album.
Damn right. Hell yeah. Good pick. Good pick. My number 2 is Alpha Wolf's Half Living Things.
Yeah.
Oh, this record is so fucking good. It is genuinely, it does not stop. Except, I mean, it takes like a little breather with Whenever You're Ready. And it goes, we're still going to be like, a little upbeat, but we're going to be, on the softer side. And it's kind of chilling. You're going to be cool with it. Every single song on this record has replay value for me. To me, this is no killer. All killer, no filler. Pause. All killer, no filler. Fuck. Again, it's just, I'm at that point of loving a record so much where it's just like, why do I even have to explain it? I fucking love this record. If it means anything, Sucks to Suck. It said I streamed it 503 times this year. It was my top track of the year. So I'm true. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this shit. Yeah. Okay? So Sucks to Suck is my favorite. I fucking love Bring Back the Noise, Double Edged Demise, fucking tick, tock, tick, tock. Oh, what do you mean you wake up every day like boom? That shit's crazy. I love Garden of Eyes. I love Mankyo. I need to fucking learn how to pronounce that. It's his like Instagram username. I don't know what it fucking means, but it's awesome. Pretty Boy. That is my second favorite song off the entire record. That shit is crazy. I did not know you could move like that in metalcore. That shit's crazy. The lyrics are insane. And I fucking love it. Awesome work. Incredible work. Good job. Massive, like, standing ovation for that shit. Terrible Day for Rain. This record's really good. It means a lot to me. And I've spent a lot of time with it. And I've gotten into their other record because of it. And that makes me very happy. So, massive fan. Again, shout out Pretty Boy. Shout out. That's like the first song I add to like all of my playlists now. Because it's just that song. I don't know. Like, come on. Jesus. So, yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah. And we had Lockie on the podcast to chat about the album. That was a great time.
That's what made me go, I need to get into this band. Because really, it is just meeting them and being able to hear the album like process from their perspective that kind of locks it in for me, where it's like, well, fuck, I gotta like get into it now because this shit's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And my number 1, my album of the year is Make Them Suffer's self-titled album.
That's what was missing. Okay.
Yeah. Now, as I said, for the longest time, I thought that the Warnings record was going to be my number 1. And then for a second, I thought Cane Hill's record might be my number 1. And then this album snuck in out of nowhere, out of left field, and just stole the entire show. Now, because it was the last of those 3 albums that we got to hear. knew what we were getting into with the singles, was a fan of all the singles leading up to it. But this album is like, it's like if I made a playlist, this is the kind of music that would be on that playlist, because it is just a metalcore record that is nothing but fucking smashers. There's breakdowns on every goddamn song except the closer and obviously the intro track, and it's just boom, 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 boom. So many fantastic fucking songs on this album, and I could sit here and name all of them. But Oscillator, as you said, fantastic fucking song. I also really dig No Hard Feelings and Tether. I've really been fucking with the non-singles on the album. You know, obviously love all of the singles. Man of God, Doom Switch, fantastic tracks.
Doom Switch,
yes. Ooh. But you know, No Hard Feelings, Venetian Blues, and Tether were some of my favorites off of the album once I got to hear it in full. And you know, Small Town Syndrome being the song that isn't the boom, you know,
we bring the boom. Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
the big smasher, you know, it's a closing track, but it fits. Overall, fantastic album. I have spent a good chunk of time with this record, even though it came out in the middle of November, and I can confidently say that I will be continuing to spend time with it, and can hand it my album of the year spot.
Damn right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I kind of now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that does fit. That does make that lines up. Okay. Surprise, surprise. My number one is Tyler the Creator's Chromacopia.
And then didn't see that one coming.
Whoa. Imagine if it was my number two. You would think it was you would think it was Alpha Wolf, probably.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I don't know. I love this record a lot. Tyler, the Creator, is my favorite artist. I think he is an incredible musician. I think he could do any fucking genre he wants to do. And I think this record really showcases a lot of his artistic ability, because in my opinion, you cannot categorize this album. It does so many different things. It has a lot of R&B tracks. It has a fucking pop track. It has rap tracks. It's just, the only thing it doesn't have is rock, I'm pretty sure. And I'm waiting for him to do rock. I'm pretty sure he touched on it a bit on Cherry Bomb, but I would like to see it in his stages now. I would love to see it in a new record, because for me, Cherry Bomb is just a bit hard to digest, respectfully. We'll get there eventually, though. I think how it opens with Saint Chroma featuring Daniel Caesar is incredible. I think it is very cinematic. I think it's fucking massive. And I love all of the segments that have his mom talking in them. She's very commanding. She's very motivational. It's very fucking powerful, especially in Saint Chroma. I also really like Darling I. I say like, love. It is my favorite song off the record. Darling I featuring Tizo Touchdown. It is a song. I'm not gonna explain every fucking song. I really like it, and it's very reminiscent of kind of like the 90s, early 2000s R&B tracks, which makes me very happy, because I did grow up listening to that type of music, that genre. So it's very nostalgic for me. I think he fucking crushes it. Tizo Touchdown, did not know you could sing like that. Incredible work, crazy. I've grown really attached to I Killed You now that I know what it means after listening to it a couple of times. It's about kind of just how Black culture has been told to, especially women, has been told to kind of reject how we look and our hair, and straightening it and putting chemicals in it, and how it kind of kills your background and your identity, and also the chemicals kind of seep into you and kill you. So I think that song is fucking incredible. It's very powerful. I love it so much. I love Take Your Mask Off. I love Thought I Was Dead. I love Balloon. I Hope You Find Your Way Home. Holy shit, this album is really fucking good. And Hey Jane is also incredible. How the fuck are you as a man touching on such a serious and fragile topic, and you nail that shit so well without stepping on any toes? It is so fucking good. Oh, and Ratata is just a fucking banger. That shit's just an ass shaker. I don't know. Great record. Tyler, Creator, is my favorite artist. I will say that. No hesitation, no question in my mind. And this album just locks it in even more. I fucking love Chromacopia.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, I saw that one coming from a mile away. But
I know. Yeah, I know. Whatever.
You got a
whatever,
big beacon
bro.
on you when it's Tyler the Creator.
He just genuinely, he just usually automatically gets the spot, but he always earns it.
Yeah.
He always earns it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's our album of the year list. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you think we had terrible takes? Do you agree with our takes? Let us know down in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts. Would love to hear your top 10s as well. As we said at the beginning, this is the last discussion podcast for the year. We'll have a couple of more reviews because we're finishing up our Panic at Disco discography, and we'll just let that run until whenever the last one comes out, it comes out, and then there will be a small break as we kind of pick things back up in 2025. But this is kind of one of the last things we're recording for the year, and then we're going to be taking a nice break for ourselves for the holidays, and we will be back next year with more of the same, weekly podcast reviews and a shitload of interviews, and we'll be continuing the throwback reviews that we did we picked up in the middle of this year. I keep saying last year like we're putting this out in 2025. We're not. Again, appreciate all of the support this year. Looking forward to a fantastic 2025, and we'll see you in the new year. I have been Shane.
I've been Glory.
And we have been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next year. Bye.
Bye.